One of the most powerful business plans ever written is hidden in a 2,000-year-old story that we often dismiss as mere spiritual allegory. If you have read the parable of the talents and think only of spiritual gifts, you're not wrong, but you may have missed the real business genius behind the story. In July 2020, I was invited to sit on a funding panel in Lagos. 20 companies from low-income communities each had 10 minutes to pitch their business to us. It was my second time judging pitches like this, and what struck me most was how each founder's personal capacity shaped the level of capital they were offered. In this video, we are going to decode the Matthew 25 parable as a blueprint for building an investable enterprise. We will uncover the principles that separate a growing venture from a stagnant one, based on God's own investment strategy. Welcome to Metacognitive. Let's read together. For the kingdom of heaven is like a man traveling to a far country who called his own servants and delivered his goods to them. And to one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to each according to his own ability. And immediately he went on a journey. This popular parable begins with the kingdom of heaven is like a man. The kingdom of heaven on earth shows up here as active business engagement. It suggests that the kingdom of heaven is not only supposed to be where you and I go and pray, where you go and have only spiritual engagement. The kingdom of heaven is also business. Your business is also God's kingdom. This shows the kingdom of heaven has an earthly business enterprise side. If the kingdom of heaven is like a man, it casts a picture of God as a businessman, or more accurately, an investor focused on growing each coin. He is interested in seeing a return on what he distributes. God is not only interested in our spiritual gifts or talents as we call it. He operates as the ultimate investor and provides a model for how we should handle capital, capacity, risk, and growth. So, what are the actual rules of the game? When we decode the parable, we find it's not a vague spiritual lesson. It's a masterclass in enterprise. It reviews the core principles that govern how value is created and multiplied. Let's break them down. We're going to walk through 5 principles with each one building toward a single goal, making your venture investable. In plain terms, an investable enterprise, as I've been mentioning, is a scalable system led by a capable founder who uses capital to deliver predictable returns. Now, with that foundation laid, let's start with the most essential rule. Principle number 1. God invests in people, not just ideas. The first and most critical lesson is this. The master's investment wasn't based on a business plan, an innovation, or an invention that any of the servants presented. The passage says the master gave to each according to that servant's ability. This means God's primary investment is in you. He invests in people, not business ideas. That means you alone are responsible for ideation, invention, and execution of whatever idea you have. In March 2022, I was on another panel of judges for the funding contest for projects, this time as a design mentor and consultant. Each project was to be a collaboration between 2 to 6 people, and I remember pressing each team very hard on their users, who they were, and how they had tested their assumptions, how they are engaged with users and validated their product design. But you know who the eventual winner is? The founder who had proven capacity by validating real customer needs, exactly what principle number 1 demands. This also means capital is not handed out equally. Business is not socialism. The quota of investable capital you receive is directly tied to your experience and capacity. So the most important question you can ask is, am I growing? Your personal growth, your character, your depth, your experience is what makes you investable. Are you developing your ability to handle more? Principle number 2, the unbreakable laws of capital. To be a good steward, you have to understand the nature of the tool you've been given. And that tool, capital, has its own set of rules. Let's be clear here. Business runs on profit. You have to make money if you want to do good on a large scale. If there's no profit motive, it's not a business, it's a charity or a social enterprise. And that's a different model entirely. Second, what you need to understand here, capital must always be productive. In basic economics, capital is a means of production, just like land, labor, and enterprise. It cannot be idle. This is why savings is not a wealth building strategy. It's an idle state for money. The master in that passage was displeased with the third servant precisely because he let his capital sit idle. You have to venture. God expects a return, and He gives us the bare minimum by even saying that the prevailing interest rate in the bank is what He would have gotten back from His money, His talent, His capital. This means also that stories and excuses don't work, only results matter. You must account for the capital you've been given. It's not your money to sit on, it's a tool for production. Principle number 3. Fear is an entrepreneurial energy. Risk is fundamentally inherent to business. You can't be risk averse trying to succeed in business. The master was displeased with the guy who wouldn't take risk. He said, "It is criminal to live cautiously like that." Some people don't want to take risk because they are waiting for perfect conditions, but the man who waits for perfect conditions will suffer consequences when imperfect conditions force him to act. You can't remove fear from business. At some point, you will question yourself. Fear is a given, but you must treat it as an entrepreneurial energy, not a stop sign. Alongside this courage, you must be rational. Entrepreneurship is a rational activity. You have to separate your sentiments from your business dealings. Your personal feelings about your investors or the market are irrelevant to the multiplication of capital. Principle number 4. Business is non-spiritual. And this is the most challenging principle. This parable strips away any notion that business is purely spiritual. Notice that the master, as a venture capitalist, he took the capital risk, but he never took the business risk. He never suggested what business to go into or examined a single business plan. The responsibility remained with the servant, the entrepreneur. You know why? Why didn't the master say, "Hey, you now have talents, use it in this particular business so you can make $1 million"? Or why didn't the master tell the guy with one talent at the particular bank he should keep the money in order to earn interest? I believe the reason is because if you follow the universal laws of capital, you will succeed irrespective of your faith. It's like the law of sowing and reaping. It works for the atheist, the Muslim, the Hindu, just as it works for the believer. And I know this is not what many people want to hear, but principles are principles. We need to remember that when Jesus was telling this parable, Jesus himself was not a Christian, nor was there anything called Christianity. And because these principles work, the goal is to build something that lasts. Initial capital may be given to you for good ideas, but further capital is always allocated to proven ideas. The servant with 10 coins got more because he showed evidence of growth. This is the principle of stewardship. If you are faithful in little, you will be trusted with much more. Further allocation of capital is always governed by stewardship and proven results. When you show you can grow what you have, you position yourself for more. Principle number 5. The ultimate expression of business is creating a scalable system. A truly investable enterprise is one you can walk away from. The master left on a trip. He was on vacation in another country. Or perhaps he relocated abroad, but of course he was not deported, if you get the gist. He could do this because he knew how to delegate profit making. If you are the only person who can make money in your enterprise, your capacity will eventually be exhausted and innovation will die. The goal is to become a master who can manage servants, not an employee trapped in your own business. The longer you stay as the sole engine, the fewer new ideas you'll have. Your goal is to build a system that runs without you, multiplying the capital you've been entrusted with. That is a truly investable enterprise. As you can see, the parable of the talents isn't just a Sunday school story about using your gifts or your talents. It also carries some lesson we today can apply in our businesses, organization, or ministry. So, looking at your business, your ministry, or your idea through this Matthew 25 lens, the question now is, what will you do with this insight? Ask yourself, am I focused on growing my capacity to become more investable? Is my fear leading to paralysis or action? What have I proven with what I already have? Am I building a system or am I the entire system? This is the kind of thinking we explore here at Metacognito. If you'd like to see more videos like this, like this video so YouTube knows that you want to see more like it. And in the comments below, please share with me what stood out to you the most in this video. Was it about personal capacity, the laws of capital, or the mindset of risk, or maybe even the need for a scalable system? I read every comment and I reply to each of them. I would love to continue the conversation there. Thanks for watching.